What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Kemple with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. We've got a really cool guest joining us from Ware, New Hampshire, so on the East Coast. Where art thou? No. Please meet, welcome, Steve Gamlin. He is the Motivational Firewood Guy. Steve, thank you so much for joining us today. I really love your title. Can you please introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit about your background?
Sure thing. Thank you so much, Deanna. For the past 17 years, I've been known as the Motivational Firewood Guy. And it's funny because very early in my speaking career, I just wanted to be a motivational humorist. And I went to my very first National Speakers Association meeting up here in New England. And I had to wear, one of those blue badges, the one that all you do is write your name and it says, "Hi, I'm clueless. This is my first time here, but my name is Steve."
Yeah.
And one of the veteran members came over as soon as he saw me and he goes, "Oh, hey, Steve, hey, I'm Don. Very nice to meet you. So what do you speak on?" I said, "Motivation." He says, "Well, okay, what sets you apart?" And I said, "Well, I want to help people." He goes, "Well, you're not really helping yourself right now. That's not a niche. That's the Grand Canyon. We all want to help people, Steve."
Yeah, for
But
sure.
he was so generous and so kind and patient with his time. About 3 to 5 minutes later, I finally said, "Okay, Don, if people are coming to hear me speak, then they've got a spark of something in their heart that they want to achieve or improve. And if I share a story, a lesson, an example, a call to action, and it inspires them to get up the next day and go do something with it, it's kind of like I gave them a piece of motivational firewood."
For sure.
And he said, "Do you know anything about trademarks?" I said, "Not a clue." He said, "Look it up. I really like the concept." And he goes, "What I liked more was the way your face just lit up when you explained it."
Yeah.
I said, "So pursue that, young man." And I've been the Motivational Firewood Guy ever since.
That's a great story. I love it, and and you trademarked it too. So that's really good. I think that's a very smart. So you tell us a little bit about your background. So doing podcasts is kind of not new for you because of what you've done in the past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was on the radio. I was a morning show producer in rock morning radio here in New England from 1992 to 2002. And the funny part is sometimes people say, "Oh, you've got a lovely radio voice."
Yeah.
It's a shame I didn't have it when I was actually on the radio. I was an off-air producer for most of my decade because I wasn't confident. I was real shy and quiet and behind the scenes. And when I blew up my radio career, just due to burnout, in a short window, my radio career, my first marriage, and all financial stability I'd ever known was gone in about a year's time. And just from the ashes, an afternoon that I spent hitting golf balls at a driving range in a thunderstorm under power lines, daring the storm to hit me.
And I feel like that's a very common thread amongst people that like yourselves that is motivational and a speaker, is that you've kind of had to go through some growing pains to get to where you are. And for me, I never thought I'd be doing this podcast and it'd be going the way that it has been. And when I first started, it was hard to find my voice. That's a very scary step to take, is to put yourself out there and you just have to say, no matter what, you're just going to let your voice be heard and use it for me and for you for positive reasons, and just see where it goes.
Yeah, I mean, once you figure it out, I remember at the very end of my radio career, I finally had to be on the air because our morning guy quit, and the owner was going to put the station back on satellite. And I told my boss, I said, "Jack, I've been in radio for almost 10 years at this point." I said, "Come on, I can do it." But Jack didn't know I'd never been on the air before. And I was trying, and I was not doing well, and it was awkward. And one day I finally said, "Look, hey, this is Steve, everybody. If you tolerate me for the next 40 seconds reading the weather, I'll play you a really good rock song. How's that?" My boss came downstairs, opened the door, and he goes, "Why can't you just do that every time?" Because that was the best thing you've done all week. I said,
"That's cool.
Okay, just be yourself, and the right people will find you. You'll be attractive, magnetic, and just be yourself." He said, "Stop trying to sound like another DJ." And that's where it began, right there in that conversation. Actually, I just talked to him 2 weeks ago, and he still remembers that. He goes, "Yeah, you were terrible all week. I was going to pull the show." But then you just did that break, just being yourself, and it was actually funny.
So what do you think of podcasting now, since you have a background in radio and how it's blowing up? I mean, it's becoming a very big industry. I mean, I know podcasting goes back a long way, but it's getting huge.
It is, and I absolutely love it. And I've been a guest on so many podcasts. I've been hundreds of podcasts over the years. What I love the most is
Yeah.
that I get to meet the coolest people who just have a voice, a
Yeah.
message, and a little setup sometimes in their home or in their basement. And I get to talk to people all around the world. And it's an honor for me
Yeah.
to not be tied by geography, where I can just have a good conversation with somebody in other parts of the country or the world. And
Yeah.
I really love it. I'm glad that it's making a big resurgence right now.
Yeah. I know it's been pretty cool. And sorry, guys, as most of you know that follow me and listen, my dogs like to make an appearance. So, but we can hear you more than them.
Not a problem.
So tell us a little bit more about your motivational speaking, and what types of engagements you've done, and how you tailor your speeches for the
Yeah, what
audience.
I've done mostly over the years are keynote speeches. I've either kicked off events, or I'm the guy that they put on right after lunch when everybody is ready to snooze and fall asleep. For my energy, I've had people literally say, Steve, I know you're supposed to go on at 3, but I don't know what happened at lunch. Can you go on at 1 instead? Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
what I deliver is a very back to basics combination of positivity, humor, and I do a lot with visualization as well to help people kind of get to the next level of achieving their goals. But there's always some humor in there. I be as lighthearted, energetic, and of course appropriate with any humor that I use.
sure. I love it. I love it. I don't know if I could do that. Like, I love doing this. I don't know if I could put myself. Who knows?
Yeah.
You never know what can happen. But I think that it's just amazing. People like you that can go out there and speak in front of a large audience. And I mean, I've spoken in front of a handful of people, and that's nerve
Yeah.
wracking. Do you still get nervous?
I only get, let's see, 17 years, hundreds of events, in addition to being the DJ and MC for over 1,600 weddings over the past almost 30 years.
Oh,
I
what am I
only
talking about?
get
That's right.
nervous every time. I still do.
Oh,
And what I get nervous about is the first 90 seconds. It's to get out there,
yeah,
and if I had a conversation prior, or if I get a feel or the vibe or something funny to say about the theme or a bit of connection, that I love to open with really good energy. I just hope that lands. And if I make it through that first 90 seconds,
yeah,
oh, we're good. But I really work
yeah,
extra
for
hard
sure.
for that. Yeah.
You guys really like. I mean, obviously, I've been to a lot of events where she's moving around. Where I've watched speakers, and it's very. You guys just have a very enigmatic personality. It's very energetic, and you can feel that fire that comes from you because you're very passionate about it. I love
Thank
it.
you.
I love it so much. So with everything that happened last year, how did you pivot for your speaking engagements, or what did you offer your
Yeah,
client
everything kind
base?
of disappeared there for a while last year. And at first I said, okay, where's the gift in this? Because like anything else that's ever happened, I've
Yeah,
had ups and downs over the years. Like I said, my Phoenix rides a pogo stick. There's always something just willing or ready to knock us down. And I always say, look, that which doesn't kill me gives me a really good story to share on stage. So what 2020
for
did
sure.
was I couldn't hop on a plane. I couldn't fly halfway across the country for a speaking event. And I mentioned earlier, I do a lot with visualization, with vision boards. So what my
Yeah.
business mentor and coach and I had started to do actually 2 years ago was move a training program that I created that I used to deliver live. We moved it online and created a platform. And sure as
Okay.
anything, COVID happened and the system was already in place. And we just moved, hit the switch, and I started working with companies saying, okay, here's the program, it's online, and let's build a coaching
Yeah.
schedule around it. It's actually getting received, and I think it's having longer lasting impact than I would come out for 2-3 hours, do an event, and leave. So
Sure.
there was the blessing in this past year. I'm able to work with multiple companies at a time and then monthly
Yeah.
coach them and work through the program. And I actually love it more because I'm not a big fan of flying. I'm 6'2". I weigh about 240 pounds. And the seats and the
Okay.
snacks are getting smaller, I think, every year. So I'm fine
Oh,
dressing
okay.
nicely from the
Sure.
waist up and teaching from home. here in my recording studio that I built at
Yeah,
our
there you go.
house.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Well, tell us a little bit more about that because that's very cool that you were able. I mean, you were obviously that is a blessing. You were able to have that prepared and already set up so that you were able to pivot and offer that. So, tell us like when you have a client or a company that wants to work with you, what does that look like for
The
them?
first thing I say to them is very happy that you reached out, very interested to work with you and learn more. And I promise you this right up front, everything I say at first is going to sound really weird. And that usually disarms them pretty well because I talk visualization, I talk motivation and positivity and
Yeah.
education. And so many people, if they've even heard of vision boards of visualization, it's because somebody went to a vision board party, which every time I say that, I use air quotes
Okay.
and I roll my eyes. But what I teach is everything at a much deeper level. So I explain to them up front, look, we're going to establish and assess where everybody on your team is right now in their lives. And then with regard to their
Sure.
company and their personal lives, we're going to talk about their goals moving forward in 9 areas of life. And then we're going to start to dig in and see what it looks like. And then understand everybody needs to
Yeah.
know why they want what they want and a deeply emotional connection to that. And then we get the pictures and we put it together, tells a story, and then we do the action plan after that. So it's not just, hi, we're
Right.
having a vision board party, wine, cheese, cracker, scissors, and glue sticks. And wine and scissors, really bad combination.
That sounds like fun though. I like the wine and the
Well,
cheese. Like,
wine
okay.
and scissors are
I
bad.
got some magazines I can pull
And you might need the glue stick to put one of your eyebrows back on, just in case.
Oh yeah,
To
there
the
you
point where I
go. Oh
actually created a
gosh.
t-shirt line a couple years ago, and on the back it says, friends don't let friends attend vision board parties.
Oh
Call
my
me
gosh, that's
instead.
funny. That's hilarious. Hey guys, Deanna here. I'm taking a quick break to share an exciting opportunity with you. I have recently partnered with Scotsman. They have created a crowdfunding campaign building 3D printed electric scooters that make transportation smart, elegant, and sustainable. It runs on energy efficient batteries that double as USB-C power banks. And they're swappable too, so you can replace your battery and keep your scooter. Check out their crowdfunding page down below. Hurry and sign up now to take advantage of their early bird prices, 50% off. It has a built-in camera, GPS, live maps, and an automatic lock. So hurry up now, get in on this. Go to my special link below, 50% off, and be a part of this really cool campaign. You won't be disappointed. That's so when you work with a company, is it and they bring on the people they are going to have you coach? Is it typically their leadership team or is it random
Sometimes it's
employees?
been the leadership level, overseeing several different
Yeah.
departments of people, and occasionally that has led to me working with that single leader in their team as well. But a lot of times, what they'll do is
Okay.
they'll bring in the concept and the energy, and then it will just work its way throughout the rest of the company around them. And if they choose to hire me to come in and work with the whole team, wonderful. If I just continue to coach the leaders,
Right.
that's great too. But what I've seen, one of the first testimonials I ever got was 2 weeks after an event where the team leader sent me a message and said, you would not believe the energy in this place right now. People are having conversations they've never had before because they've learned more about each other
Yeah.
in a comfortable, safe place. And they said the
Yeah.
camaraderie, even if they appear on paper to be competing, the energy level goes up
Right.
because everybody's focused on the work, and also as individuals, they've got each other's back. They're cheering each other on, and they're all working together to create this shared company vision as well as their own personal things.
Right. I think that's I love it. And I think that I know not vision board parties, but vision boards and really identifying your goals and your personal life and your career, your work life are very intertwined in a lot of
Mm-hmm.
ways. I feel that they are. If you are not in line in your personal life, there's a lot of chances you're probably not going to be in line with your career or your work life as well because we spend more time at work than we do on our other things. I mean, this is a known fact
Mm-hmm.
for forever. So I think that it's really great that you offer these services because this is very unique to me. And I talk to a lot of different coaches, a lot of different speakers, and you do something very unique, and I think it's very cool. I love it.
And one of my
I
favorite
love it.
comments is I have so many people say, okay, you do this. I said, yes. They go, and you're a guy. Yes. I guess they're so
What?
used to the stereotypical motivational speaker, rah, 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 buy my stuff. And what I do is a very introspective, different
Yeah.
approach. And I
Okay.
absolutely love that. And I take that as such a compliment, and it honors me because, you know,
Yeah.
somebody said one time, you're as sensitive and empathetic and creative and passionate and energy driven as you can possibly be and still be a dude. Thank you. I love that. It just made me laugh
So
that people
so
said that.
they're labeling you, which I would never think that way, but I guess a lot that just says a lot about our
Yeah.
society that they would label you
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
You know, but I think that it's great. I mean, I love it. I think it's very innovative.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
I'm sure it works wonders for whatever company that brings you on and the team that they let work with you. You have why is it so important to see our goals as a question? What I'd like to hear the
Yeah.
answer to that.
It's kind of like a treasure map. You know, all the pirate movies we've seen, Pirates of the Caribbean Part 1 through 85, however many
Yeah.
there are now. They always know where the treasure is because they have a map
Yeah.
to go there. So they've already visualized it. There's a treasure chest. It's buried somewhere on a beach. Here's the map. Here's all the different landmarks to get there in the directions.
Right.
Too many people are stuck back in the New Year's resolution mode because for some of us, that's all we learned. And you say
Right.
bland, broad brush things like, I want to be happy. I want to be healthy. I want more money. But we don't dial it in. We say, for example, we say we want to be healthy. Okay, great. What does that mean? Does that mean getting enough sleep every night? Does
Right.
that mean a certain number on your scale at the end of the year? Does that mean eating a certain number of healthy meals made at home versus dining out more often? So, what I
Yeah.
say with visualizing and seeing it is to know exactly what it looks like, feels like, sounds like, even smells like in some cases. To really dial in and
Yeah.
know where that X is, because no pirate wants to be out digging 180 holes on a beach wondering if that's where the treasure is going to be. And the more you can dial it in and be focused and direct, understand where you are now, know where you want to go, you increase the odds that you're going to get there.
So it's almost like manifestation,
Exactly.
but you're
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you help them figure out how to put that together and to really see that for
Yes.
themselves.
And unfortunately,
Yeah.
manifestation is
No.
another one that gets a bad rap sometimes because, and I blame The Secret, and I do that with a smile. They had a
Oh yeah, yeah.
genie and a
Say that because
magic
I see
lamp
that.
in The Secret, and I went, oh
I see that
gosh.
as a question here. Yeah. Tell us about that because I think that's very curious. I've read The Secret,
Yeah.
and you're right. It's like it is like a genie in the magic lamp, and it's like this is all great and good, but at the end of the day, who's going to be able to manifest like getting a check for $5 million?
Right.
Like,
Well, according to The
because I
Secret,
think
all
I
you have to
watched.
do is duct tape one to your ceiling and look at it every day. I appreciate what they were saying, and I get it. And I poke fun at them, but they really were on the right track. I just wish they hadn't
Sure.
generalized it like that. I believe that
Okay.
whatever universe, God, higher power, whatever it is you believe in that's out there, the energy, we've got to meet it halfway. You know, there's no wishing and waiting for it to knock
Sure.
on your door. And the 3 minutes of The Secret that actually impacted me the most was a gentleman named John Assaraf who was talking about what vision boards are. And I was so fascinated by that 3 minutes that that's my entire career has come out of studying what that 3 minutes meant. Seeing what you want,
Oh wow.
understanding why you want it, and even more so than John Assaraf said, a deep emotional connection to why you want it, and then an action plan to get there. And the action plan kind of takes place of the genie and the magic lamp. But some people still wish,
Yeah.
and maybe you get results. You'll get something will happen no matter what. I just try to dial it in and get people on a better path to not have to wish, to actually be a part of the process so that they appreciate it. And it's not just what they get,
Yeah.
but it's who they become along the way as they rise in their skills, their confidence, their consistency, and their momentum.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I've actually never heard anybody talk about that, The Secret, like that, and I really appreciate that. Before we start wrapping things up, can you please plug all your links where people can find you, follow you, support you, hire you, all
Sure,
that good
thank you.
stuff?
All my stuff is really at one place, motivationalfirewood.com. And my links are there, my products page is there, including, and I love that your dogs were a part of this conversation because my
Ah,
little guy,
well,
Super Teddy, actually has his own book that he
well,
wrote. Look at that. Herb, I love that they were a part of this because they're so joyful. And
They are. They're just making a lot of ruckus.
Not a
It's like
problem.
it kind of throws me off a little bit, but this is real life, and I think people, you guys out there that are listening, my audience, you've known it, you know my life by now, so it's not a secret. Steve, you've got a lot of great wisdom to share, and I've absolutely love this conversation. I think we could go forever, so we might have to have a part two after things start rocking and rolling again, maybe a couple of months down the line. What's some last words of wisdom or advice that you'd like to leave with the
Thank you.
audience?
And I would be honored to have another conversation, most definitely. The greatest lesson, the one that still impacts me every single day, was actually lived, he never said the words, by one of my grandfathers. And every day he would just leave at least one situation a day better than he found it. Whether it was if you saw somebody's mail had fallen out of the mailbox, he would walk over, put it back in. If you saw a picket broken on your wooden fence and he was worried one of your dogs might get out or get hurt, he'd go home, get his stubby little pencil, put it on his ear and his tape measure. He would go make you a fence picket. You would never even know that Al Dion had been there. So I try to just leave at least
Oh,
one situation a day better than I found it. And it just means being aware at all times. What could I do right now to make this better? Could I make that person
yeah,
laugh because they don't look real happy? Can I rescue that shopping cart before the
yeah.
wind blows it into a nice, expensive new car and dents it? And could I be on this radio show and maybe somebody will just say, that's a cool little piece of motivational firewood. And tomorrow, maybe they'll do something. So it's how my grandfather
Oh,
lives on in me. And I just appreciate him for that.
that is beautiful, and I think a lot of people can take away. It's those little acts of kindness that you can do that don't cost anything but make a huge impact in the world, not only for the person that you do it for, but for you yourself. Just like the energy that you put out there into the universe is just pays you back dividends when you do stuff like that. Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh, Steve. Well, thank you so much for being a guest. I've really enjoyed our conversation. I can't wait to have you back and tell us more great things. So, because I have a lot more questions here, so I'll save those for
And I hope the
part
dogs
two.
will join us for part two as well, because they were
Oh,
joyfully adding their voices to this, and I just think that's great. And thank you
oh,
so much for having me. This has been, I'm going to give you the highest compliment possible. This has been effortless. We're like two friends
oh,
hanging
yes.
on a front porch, sharing a microphone with the dogs, having a conversation, and your listeners are hanging on the front lawn and just digging the good energy. So thank you for inviting me to be
That's
part of
right.
that.
We're having a front lawn party. We're just missing the booze.
Next time we'll bring some for after the show.
There we go. I like it. I like it. All right, you guys, this is your host, Deanna Kemple with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share, and I'll be back soon with more dynamic guests.